Once there was a young boy, a good boy named John. He would run and play, his mother's favorite son. He always learned and listened of the world and such, and so he honored his father and loved his mother so much. With all his friends and family, grew up a talented man, excelled at rhyme and reason, with pen and paper in hand. One day he met this young girl, the fairest of them all, of golden hair and fancy. He wrote about his fall. The people all read about him and this girl that he loved. They wished him well. When they married, gave praise to God above. The world now turned around him with a beautiful wife, with dogs and cats and his poetry. He lived the happiest life. Then one night there were strangers came knocking at the door. Now give us all your money and all your silver and gold. They shot and killed this young man and beat and raped his wife. His newspaper said nothing, no mention of his life. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sheila, do you have another for us?
Yes.
Yes. And Sheila, if you can raise your voice some.
Okay. I'll try.
Everyone,
shout.
yes, I keep getting these waves. Like,
Oh, I see. Okay, this is about my husband because it's what my 3 children would say because he's a dad too.
well, he's the dad.
I can say lots about my husband, who is the father of my 3 children. He never remembers his own father as he was only 18 months old when he was killed at Dunkirk during the Second World War, although he knows what he looks like from the photographs his mom kept for him. My children will remember how he finished the basement in some of our homes. They were too young to really help with the first one, but he gave them small jobs to do to keep them happy and busy. The house in Bolton where we lived for 17 years had a walkout basement, and they all helped their dad with that one. He always believed that they should do and learn to do as much as possible for themselves for their own future years. They'll remember how he took them to soccer every week and to the practices and became a soccer referee and enjoyed his time with the kids and with some parents. Some parents wanted to throw the games to their advantage. Also, he sent them to bowling and martial art classes, and we bought an above-ground pool, large swimming pool, so they could invite their friends over and have a great time together, which they did. I don't know if the neighbours did, as there was a great deal of laughing and splashing around. My husband took us camping every good weekend in the summertime, so they could swim in the lake with friends they met there. He would take our 10-foot boat, which went to the river, our car, and they would all go sailing. They loved it. It could only take 4 people, so I stayed behind. I was a very poor sailor, so I didn't mind at all. We camped all over Ontario and then all over the States. We used to have 3 days at a motel where Jim worked, and the children swam in the swimming pool there. Then 3 days camping at different places all over the States. On his holidays, we had either my mum and dad over on holiday from Scotland or his mum and stepfather. His mum remarried when he was 21, and he moved out of the house to get a new job at Dounreay Atomic Energy Plant, away up in the north of Scotland. We both loved seeing our parents. I got very homesick at times, and it was wonderful to see them enjoying our children for a month in the summer. Jim drove them everywhere. He didn't really get a rest on his holidays for the next 20 years, but he got an extra week's holiday after 10 years, and we kept it for taking our children camping by ourselves. There was a great camp by Martha's Shrine in Ontario, and the 3 children loved it. They dived apart from in the lake with their friends. There was singing round the campfires and dancing in the hall on a Saturday night, which everyone enjoyed. When one of our sons said he wanted to finish school at 16, as his father's friends were well off and they didn't have a great education, Jim said that was possible then, but not now. And he asked them to get summer jobs to teach them how hard it was to make good money without some kind of trade or a piece of paper from university. They both got hard jobs, no working McDonald's, that was the easy way out. After that summer, they both knew why they had to do well in school, and they both got honours and went on to university. Ivan became an electrical engineer, Grant got his BA and then his MBA, and Julie became a graphic artist, all paid for by their dad. He didn't want them to work the way he had to. He began working when he was 15 in the shipyards. Then he got into the drawing office as a draftsman. He went to night school, then to James Watt College, his hometown in Greenock, then to Paisley Tech, then Aberdeen Tech, and then to a job far away in the north of Scotland to save money to go to university. After he finished university, we got married in September that year, and we emigrated to Canada 5 days later in 1964. We lived in Montreal, Lachine, Quebec, and then Terrace Bay. I hated the winters there, although the people were very nice. I did not want to hibernate for 6 months of the year, so we moved to Brampton, Ontario, where we bought our first house. We stayed there for 5 years before moving to a little village called Borden, about an hour's drive from Toronto. The schools there were excellent, and we needed a bigger house for our growing family. When other people bought new cars, my husband bought second-hand ones. I knew he would have liked a new car, but he wanted to have the money in the bank for emergencies, in case anything happened to him, as I didn't work then. He wanted, like me, to give his children a good education. Now he knows it was worth it, as he sees his children doing well, and we all love our 7 great-grandchildren, and our children are following their dad's example. They are saving up to give their children the same chance we gave them. We couldn't ask for more. We are delighted. We are really looking forward to seeing everyone again in July when we go back to Canada.
Oh, that's lovely. What a nice tribute to a wonderful father. Okay, I'm just gonna, I have time to. When I was in the Navy stationed in Jacksonville, I was given the job while I was waiting for my duty station to drive this officer around. But when I went to take the test, I failed. And they threw me off of the grounds and told me, actually he said, get out of here and don't ever let me see your stupid face here again. That's what the instructor said. So I go back and I tell the chief that I failed. And he says, I need a driver. By God, that's what you'll be, he said as he picked up the phone. I listened to him berate the petty officer, then threaten his life if he didn't give me another chance. See, I couldn't do parallel parking. Still can't. Get right back over there and don't come back without a license, he said. I followed his arm to the door and out into the hall. I have to take you back to the testing ground, Parker said. No, you're taking me to my execution, I cried. Well, dear righteous, the guy on the testing ground was waiting when we arrived. The 5 sailors had probably passed the test in minutes. He was possibly the most unhappy man I'd ever seen next to my father. His face brought back all the memories of the times my father took me out in his car for a lesson. He would always throw me out of the car. Night after night I walked home with the words of my father ringing my ears. You stupid moron! Are you trying to wreck my car on purpose? I gave Righteous my little Lulu smile. It didn't work. I don't know what you told the chief, but there's no way you're getting into that vehicle again. I was elated. I wanted to say, it's a truck. Why can't you speak like a human? Instead, I kept my little Lulu face on until he was done with me. I felt like the girl in a book I had read called The Amboy Dukes after she got gangbanged and spit on. Parker and I drove back to the rec center in silence. I tiptoed down the hall to the chief's office. When I reached the door, I threw my hat in, fully expecting it to be shot full of holes. Get in here, the chief screamed. I stood at attention while he ticked off my seeds. You aren't even trying to fulfill your potential. I read your entire file. You have an outstanding IQ. You were a semi-screw-up in boot camp. You squeezed through air school and never got to be a photographer. You married a stupid Marine, and now you're going to go to El Toro Marine Base, live in government housing, and have a bunch of kids. My future sounded so bleak when I heard it recited like that, especially the part about the bunch of kids. I was ready to commit suicide. Then the chief gave me a rundown of my immediate future. Your job will be to come here every day and do nothing, he said. Nothing, as if it were a perversion. You will sit here next to me all day and drink coffee. You can leave only for lunch and when the work siren sounds. I won't be mean to you. You and I can have wonderful intellectual conversations. I don't get to talk to very many bright people. So the chief got a driver and I got a chair. So, I want to thank everyone. We hope you enjoyed today's show from the Bishop West Real Estate Tower. Thanks to all our volunteers behind the mic for all the hard work that goes into making this show run smoothly. To Linda Shell for her great work she does as our editor. A special thanks to R.J. Malloy, our station manager, and goodbye to all.
That was great.
Are we still on Facebook?
Hey, hey.